Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th or October 15th, so today is actually the last day. And a lot a term that has recently started being used within Hispanic communities, Latinx. So why do we use Latinx instead of Latino or Latina? Over the past few years, as we progressed further in terms of social justice, we began looking for more general neutral language, which brought us to Latinx. Spanish and most Latin-based languages tend to be very gender-oriented, which can be very restricting to those who identify outside of she or him pronouns. This is where the term Latinx came in. This term is used in order to be more inclusive to all genders and people. So what is the difference between Hispanic and Latinx? Latinx is an ethnicity, not a race. It refers to people from Latin America, and not all Latinx speak Spanish, so in general this is like Brazil. Hispanic, also an ethnicity, not a race, refers to people from a Spanish-speaking country, and not all Hispanic are Latinx, and not all Latinx are Hispanic. So can anyone think of like an example of someone who's Hispanic but not Latinx? Spain, everyone in them speaks Spanish, and they're in Europe, not in Latin America. So race within the Latinx community, because of a long and complicated history with colonialism in Latin America, race can be very complicated in terms of the Latinx community. For example, due to the long history of slavery in the Caribbean, many Dominicans can be considered black, similar to how many people in the southern Latin American countries such as Argentina and Chile are considered white while remaining ethnically Latinx. So yeah, Latinx. It's not a race. You can be black and Latinx or Latinx. Latinx diversity in our community. Our community is often perceived as very white and lack of culture representation, but that is not the case. Our community is very rich in Peruvian, Mexican, and indigenous culture. In fact, Haley's actually 34.1% Hispanic. And this is a picture of the trailing of the sheep. The people who actually herd the sheep are Peruvian. And yeah. Any questions?
We have questions for Paula. She just gave us a lot of info. Questions, things?
Why did they choose Latinx instead of like Latin or like Latin with like Latin and is there like a reason why they chose Latinx? Or
Like the X?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's just, usually it's like Latino or Latina. If you're referring to someone who happens to be Latinx, you say like, in my case, you say Latina because I've used she, her pronouns. But like someone who like isn't she or him, right? Or like maybe you don't know like what they are, sort of thing, you know? And a really cool thing that actually like is used commonly in like Mexico and Texas and South America is like if you're like texting someone and you don't know who they are, you'll use like that, you know, like the at, because it's like an O and an A, so it can be like either or, you know, sort of thing.
Very cool. It's a fun fact.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
yeah.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
So people who speak like Portuguese, they're considered Latinx too? Is like
No, because they like Brazil. So they're Latin. Oh yes. Sorry. Yeah. So they're from Latin America, but they don't speak Spanish, but they're still Latinx because they live in America. There's actually like a lot of countries like towards the top of Southern America up there who like don't speak Spanish. They're more like Caribbean, like on the coast, and they're still considered Latinx, but not Hispanic.
Very cool. Anything else? Well, can we say thank you to Paula for coming in? Yeah, this was so great, and I think, I learned a lot from this presentation. And if people do have questions down the line and they want to shoot me an email or just send one to Paula directly, I think it's always important to recognize cultures that might be different than our own. So that's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. This was so great. I loved it. I teach block 1 as well today. So if do you have a block 1?
Yeah, but I can.
Who do you have?
I have Reggie at the gym.
Okay, I will shoot her an email and ask her to excuse you for the first like 10 minutes of class.
Sounds good.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Paola.
Thank you.
Okay, amazing. So super cool.